Hi everybody, I miss you. Here is what we have for today before we have a math assessment tomorrow. So I'm going to go over some of these problems with you to practice because these are some of the types of problems that will be on the test. So on page 513 in your book, there over on the left hand side, there's examples done for you. So here we're multiplying a whole number times a fraction, and this is just showing that it's like repeated addition. 2/3, 4 times, 2/3, another time, another time, another time, 4 times. I'm just showing where that lands you on the number line. So if that helps you to think about it in that manner, that's okay. You can definitely utilize that. I am going to show you, I'm going to do just a couple examples here, and then I want you to do at least 2 from each of these sections that we're going to go over, but you can obviously do more. The more practice, the better. So I'm going to use our raise it up, multiply across strategy. So we're going to raise the 4 up into 4 over 1. And then when we multiply across, numerator times numerator equals 12. And then denominator times denominator equals 4. So in order to simplify that, since it is an improper fraction, the top numerator is larger than the denominator. We know we've gone over 1 whole. So luckily here, 12 divided by 4 is exactly 3. So we can easily figure out that the answer is 3. If we move over to number 2, I'm going to use the same method. So of course you could do 1/4 added together 7 times if you wanted to write that out, or use a number line. But I'm going to raise up the 7 to make it 7 over 1 and then multiply across. So 7 times 1 is 7 and 1 times 4 is 4. Again, this is improper. So let's say that Uncle Ryan or Mr. V have a pizza and it's cut into 4 pieces and someone ate 7 pieces. They definitely ate over 1 whole pizza. So here we can do 7 divided by 4 to get our exact answer. There's a mixed number. So 4 goes into 7 one time. So we're going to subtract the 4, and we get 3, and that's going to be our remainder of 3. Ooh, it's hard to see that over there. So then our whole number is 1 in our answer. Write that off over here. And then our walk the plank, just like they do on Boss Baby, right? We've got a 3 on the top of the plank and a 4 on the bottom of the plank. So 3/4 is our fraction. So 1 3/4. Or you can do that in your head, if your brain just tells you that that's, 4 goes into 7 one time, and then there's 3 left over to make 3/4, that's okay too. So give some of these a try. And no need to send them back to me unless you want to know if you're doing it correctly. And then down here in set B, this is doing basically the same thing, but also reminding us that if it says of, that of means multiplication. Mary's clock uses 3/4 of the batteries in the package. And it says there's 8 batteries in a package. I thought there were 4. How many batteries does the clock need? So you would do 3/4 of 8, or 3/4 times 8, which is demonstrated here. So if you do some up here on the top, which we'll do the first one together, you can just do our raise it up, multiply across again. So 1/2 of 4. And if you think about that, think about if you had 4 Shopkins, okay, or maybe, okay, fine boys, Transformers or something, and you had half of the 4 of them. You know that half of 4 is 2, right? So you can estimate your answer here in different ways. So we're going to have 4 times 1, 1 times 2, 4 divided by 2 equals 2. So there's our answer. But now if we come down here, this is when we're going to look at the word of, which also means to multiply. Marco weighs 80 pounds. His bones make up about 1/5 of his body weight. How much do his bones weigh? So if it's 1/5 of his body weight, we know that since 80 times 1/5, it's not even 80 times 1, right, which would be 80. It's 80 times 1/5. It's definitely going to be a number that's lower than 80, right, because his bones aren't going to weigh more than he does altogether. So use some sort of reasoning here, like scaling, like we did in the other lesson, to make sure that your answer is reasonable. So 1/5 of 80, or 80 times 1/5. The commutative property says that we can switch these numbers around and it doesn't matter, right? So this is actually interesting because I have a body weight scale where it tells you, it breaks things, or body fat analysis. It tells you how much percent of your weight is bones, water, muscle and fat. So Haley would be very interested in knowing that, and Riley too, since they're always on me about, you know, what I'm doing at home to stay fit. But don't worry, I'm keeping track over this break here. Well, I guess it's not a break. Okay, 80 times 1, 80. 1 times 5, 5. So now we know there's going to be a straight answer with no, just a whole number, because 5 times something does equal 80 because it has a 0 on the end. So let's see. 80 divided by 5. 5 goes into 8 one time. Subtract. You get 3. Bring the 0 down. And it's 16. So in Ellie's fashion, or Annie fashion, we're not just going to say 16. We're going to say, see, how much do his bones weigh? Marco's bones weigh 16 pounds, right? They love to write out the complete answer, which is great. So give some of these, try maybe, you know, 1 or 2 up here, or all of them, and then try some of the word problems as well. Okay, everyone's favorite thing, not. I know you guys, how you guys feel about this. So we're just gonna do, I'm gonna do one of these, number 1 with you, but luckily they already have it drawn out, so it's not so bad. Okay, so when we're using, now I told you guys, if you can do numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator, you're fine, okay? But we're gonna talk about this other way as well, just to help you. So 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 8 is 24. I noticed right off the bat that I can simplify that, because I noticed that I can divide this by 6 and get 1, and divide this by 6 and get 4. So I can divide both of those by 6. So I'm going to do 6 divided by 6 is 1. Oops, already 2 equal signs now. 24 divided by 6 equals 4. So the simplified answer is 1/4. But we're going to see how 6/24 comes about here. So remember I told you in college on my one cheat day, I would get a hamburger, or well, actually it was a cheeseburger, and I'd lay fries across. I'd like crisscross some this way and then crisscross some that way in the middle of my sandwich. It was so good. So picture here. So we've got thirds and we've got eighths. So there's 3 French fries going across this way. They're long. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then I've got 8 French fries going this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it does kind of look like mustard and ketchup, doesn't it? Okay. So here, 2/3. So if we're talking about 2/3, 2 out of the 3 French fries. So there's 3 laying here, okay? So we're talking about shading 2 of them. So these 2 were shaded. This whole fry here, this whole fry here. And then here, 3 out of the 8 French fries, the 8 that are going this way, 3 are shaded here. So the overlapping portion is right here, the one that they have like double shaded. So these 2 fries and these 3 fries overlap right here. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 out of 24 of these little pieces now that we've made when they overlap. So that's how we got that. So go ahead and, I mean, you can do the math and figure that one out, and take a look at the picture and give those 2 a try. Hi, buddy. I have somebody just woke up way too early. It's still dark out. Okay, so we're gonna go with set D over here, and this is just straight multiplying across. So Mom, you guys have that. Yes, this is yours. So we're just going to multiply right across here. 6 times 1 is 6. Mom, 7 times 2 is 14. Mine. And yes. I do notice that, no, this is for my school, sweetie. And then we're going to, these are both even numbers, so I know I can chop them right in half, and I'll get 3/7, and that can't be simplified anymore. So we're going to simplify that. So these just multiply across. And then down here on the bottom, this is talking about area. So we talked about in class that area equals length times width, okay? Ooh, that's a crazy W. Pretend like that's not like that. Okay. So if we have like 1/3 by 1/2, you would just multiply the length times the width to get the area, right? So like the top times the side, the top times the side. Ooh, we have another person. Okay. And so here, what we're going to do is it tells us to find the area of a rectangle with the given dimensions. So length is 8/5 of a unit, and then width 3/4 of a unit. So we're going to take the length times the side to figure out what the area
Mom,
is.
Mom, that's like an H.
Where? Okay. That's like an H? Okay. So 8/5 times 3/4. And so 8 times 3 is 24. And then 5 times 4 is 20. Now, this is an improper fraction. Is that right? Well, if I look here, this is improper, so I figured it was probably going to be. So now I can look, and my brain is telling me that 20 goes into 24 one time, and there's 4 left over out of 20. And then I know that I can divide both of these by 4. I was going to say chop in half, but then I'd be able to chop in half again. So if I do 4 divided by 4, I get 1. 20 divided by 4, I get 5. So 1 1/5 units squared, right? I apologize that I'm like holding the phone and it's kind of wavy. Units squared, because it's 2-dimensional. Okay. And the last thing that we're going to do, and I don't want you to worry about these boxes down here. So when we're doing a mixed number times a mixed number, we can do the loop-de-loop, multiply across, and then turn it back into a mixed number. This here is just breaking it down, kind of like an expanded form where we did at the beginning of there, where we have like 4 2/3, and then 2 3/4, and then you just do like the top times the side for this box, the top times the side for this box. So you're, raising it up, and then you get all of your answers and you add them together, which you can try that if you'd like to. It's just another method to do it. I'm going to do the loop-de-loop. So if you want to try these, okay. If not, that's okay too. And then the part that I'm going to show you is just, I'm going to do one here, the loop-de-loop method. Jumping in the hippie van, right? So I'm going to squeeze this in over here. So 2 1/3, I'm going to keep the denominator the same. And I'm going to do 3 times 2 equals 6. 6 plus 1 equals 7. So I've got 7/3. And then, so I'm going to circle that because that's what I'm going to use now. Because it's all in the midst of all this. Okay. Fifths are going to stay fifth. Then I'm going to do 5 times 4 equals 20. 20 times 1, or sorry, 20 plus 1 equals 21. So I have 21 fifths. So then I'm going to be multiplying 7/3 times 21 fifths. So 21 times 7. 21 times 7 equals 147. So 147. And then 3 times 5, my two denominators equal 15. So 147 fifteenths. Ooh, this makes me think about the Cosby Show and how I had to, I could only watch it in increments because my mom would make me eat dinner and I'd never get to finish it. So I can actually estimate in my head, because 120 minutes is in 2 hours. Hold on, I want to see if I can estimate this. 8, 9, 10, 9. 9. Oh yeah, and if I look, 15 times 10 is 150. Okay, so I just did some estimating, but if you want to work this out, so I know it can't be, it's going to be lower than 10 because 15 times 10 would be 150, so it's going to be slightly lower. And you can actually figure that out exactly, which some of you probably just did in your head based on that. But if you want to do it this way, so I know it's going to be lower than 10, so I'm going to go with 9. So 15 times 9 equals 135. Yes, that's correct, right? Yeah, okay. All right, so 135. Look at all this.
I'm waiting so long. I'm hungry.
All right, so we've got a remainder of 12. So 9 and 12 fifteenths. And I recognize right away that I can divide both of those by 3. I think that's the most I can do to simplify that. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So 9 and 4/5 would be the final answer for this. So you see there's a variety of steps, but they're all steps that you know. So just take it one at a time, one step at a time, and just give 2 of those a try. Thank you for watching this. Sorry that it's a little bit longer, but I just want to make sure that you guys are prepared. And I still feel like it's rushed, but who wants to watch a long video, right? Okay, I miss you guys.